it's a big deal, and it seems as though, or this is the name of the show, or the clip that basically showed up on my timeline, and it said how Ozempic became the new Viagra. I have not seen it yet. I have no clue of what it is that they're going to talk about, but I want to evaluate this because I've been hearing this, and I hear that a lot of celebrities, and I've been hearing it on TV and stuff like that, of people using this to lose weight. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's find out what this is all about, y'all.
When I look around this room, I can't help but wonder, is Ozempic right for me?
Ozempic has been around for several years now, and it was a treatment for type 2 diabetes. In 2022, it started entering the public consciousness.
Ozempic is great for people whose parents can't cook.
Like, shut the f up. You're on Ozempic.
It was a social media phenomenon. This surge of beautiful people talking about losing weight with this medicine.
What is Ozempic phase?
The biggest corporate beneficiary of the drug's popularity has been Novo Nordisk.
Ozempic's success has turned Novo Nordisk into Europe's biggest company, with a valuation of $450 billion.
See, now I'm skeptical. I'm very, very skeptical because, okay, so they telling me that this is a drug that was initially put together for people that were diabetic, right? There's different types of diabetics. There's type 1 and then type 2. Type 1 is basically the people that's born with it. Type 2 is the people that eventually got it. And then I was talking to my guy Yaki Awaken, and he was saying that he was able to reverse his and stuff like that. So it's a lot of content out there. Go and watch the whole interview on the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But now they're saying that this thing has started to become wildly popular in popular culture, especially when it comes to content creators using it and even celebrities leveraging it in order to continue to lose weight. So I don't know how a shot forces you to lose weight, but I'm sure I'm going to find out. But then again, you know, my mind works a little bit differently. And so I'm saying, well, why wouldn't these big drug companies leverage social media and influencers to continue to get the visibility and the popularity of it out there? Especially considering that now that the company has a valuation of over $400 billion, $480 billion. Come on, man. Look, whenever the valuation of a company and it's that level of revenue that's going through these coffers, how is it any different than the opioid crisis? How are they not incentivizing doctors to recommend this to you, especially considering that it's going to fill the coffers of what they got going on? And I need to understand why they're looking at this as the new Viagra. When I see a company and they say, well, it's valued at over $400 billion plus dollars, this is straight up about influence in order to get more visibility for a product that most people is not even using for its intended purpose.
That's overtaken its peers such as AstraZeneca, GSK, Roche, LVMH outside of the pharmaceutical space.
But a new contender has entered the ring.
Eli Lilly also now has a competing drug. It's called Zepbound, and it looks to be even more effective than Novo's drug, and it also is a little bit cheaper.
It's really set off a horse race between these two fierce competitors to see who will take the biggest part of this enormous market.
So the weight loss market is now leaning to drugs that's initially put together in order to continue to capitalize off of diabetics. And now it's a competing product similar to how Viagra and Cialis used to compete with each other in order to see who can get most users for people that's trying to take a shortcut. Got it.
It begs the question, as new drugs come to market, is the pie big enough for everyone?
Ozempic and Wegovy have the same main ingredient, which is called semaglutide. This is a GLP-1, so that means it's mimicking a hormone called GLP-1, which your body would naturally make after eating.
They slow gastric emptying and they suppress your appetite and force you to eat less.
Researchers started to realize from very early on that weight loss was going to be a side effect of this type of medicine.
In 2021, semaglutide was approved for weight loss with the brand name Wegovy. And that's when it started to become something much more than just a treatment for diabetes. All of these GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, all have side effects. The most common are stomach issues, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, but Zepbound actually looks to have potentially less side effects.
We have
But Zepbound.
What do you mean by stomach issues? Just curious. What does that all include? Stomach issues, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting. Yo, this sounds like a bad commercial. But I'm guessing that people will do anything to get the results that they got. I mean, if you're gonna fly to Miami in order to get a BBL, or you're gonna go over to the Dominican Republic in order to get your teeth done, I'm pretty much sure that it's gonna be a market for it. Hey, why don't y'all sponsor me? Listen, hey, Big O, or Wacoby, Jacob and Jacoby, come holla at your boy. Let's have a conversation.
Actually looks to have potentially less side effects.
We have been competing with Eli Lilly for 100 years in diabetes, and we're happy to do so in obesity also.
The competition between Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk is nothing new. Both companies released their first insulin products in 1923, and both of them have really dominated this diabetes space. There's also been an increase in type 2 diabetes, which means that there's an increase in demand for the drugs that treat type 2.
Meaning, basically, you create the problem. This is what my C student brain is basically saying. They create a problem that they can profit from by treating the symptoms and not actually giving you solutions. Well, why would they want to give you solutions when they're the ones that created the problem, right? And it's not saying that they created the problem specifically, but what hand do you have in controlling and lobbying of what happens for our food that we basically eating over here in America, that then determines how much you can profit from what you basically charge in insurance companies and people at an individual level to treat whatever the problem is and not actually solve for the issue, because we never should be eating this food in the first place. So we created a problem that we can profit from by solving. Got it. First step, create the problem. Look, man, when you go over to some of these other countries, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and it absolutely blew my mind when I was over in Tokyo last August. Their food don't even taste like ours. I'm being absolutely real with you. The food over there in Tokyo does not taste, it's richer, but it don't have no sugar in it, and it's natural, and you eat less of it, and the people over there are skinny, and they're healthier, and they live to be 100+ years old in good health. And it's like, when you start tasting the food, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like, it was just naturally good. You didn't need any seasonings. You ain't need no hot sauce. You ain't need no extra salt, sugar, pepper, nothing. It was just good, just how it was. The fruit was very, very colorful. It was good. It was rich. It was tasty. And it just tastes different. Like, I can't even explain to you the difference in the taste of how it was over there. I can't explain to you the difference in taste of the food of what it was over there. It just tastes good. It was just way different. It just tastes natural. It seemed like it didn't have no preservatives in it. It was just good freaking food.
Diabetes.
They're also being tested in several other diseases, sleep apnea and other comorbidities of obesity. This could be one of the biggest drug classes by sales.
In 2019, Lilly and Novo traded at comparable levels to the rest of the pharma industry. Since June 2021, when the FDA approved Wegovy, the stock's valuations have soared, tracking alongside companies such as Apple. They're being
somebody in the chat that's a part of the Bag Chasers, make sure that y'all earmark this, because we need to evaluate what the possible prospects of investing in this country. Look, investing in these companies, because obviously these are things that's going to continue to explode. That's not going to have any kind of additional regulation to it whatsoever. So we need to evaluate and look at what Novo and Eli Lilly is doing from an investment perspective and what the numbers are. I've never even considered it. It's not something that I've evaluated. So make sure that y'all put that on the list, because this is something that we're going to have to talk about in the future stock club. All right, let's continue.
Valued on how much they're likely to grow in the next few years.
So both Novo and Lilly are trading at essentially tech multiples, which is not common for the large pharma group.
Another similarity with tech is the need to keep innovating to overcome competitive hurdles, which in pharmaceuticals includes the patent expiration on drug formulas.
Patents protect a drug from competition for a certain amount of time, enabling the originator of the drug to recoup their R&D investment.
Drug makers can never rest on their laurels, right? These drugs are just hitting the market now, and they are nowhere close to their peak sales potential.
We really haven't seen this much hype around a pharmaceutical product since Viagra.
Ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor about Viagra single packs.
And it's interesting because Viagra was discovered in a similar way. Viagra was initially developed for heart conditions and saw that it had these other effects and then went after it for erectile dysfunction.
For drugs like Viagra, these are small molecules, so they're easy to produce. And when they lose patent expiration, they tend to lose around 80% of their sales within their first year. For GLP-1 drugs, these are larger molecules, so much harder to produce. So when they lose patent expiration, the sales decline is much slower.
We have a lot of other drug makers looking to get in on this market now. Amgen's developing a shot that can be taken less frequently. This is the first time that we've had drugs that are really effective to treat obesity.
Amid this potential sales bonanza, both Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are investing heavily into expanding capacity. But for now, producing enough drugs has been tough.
Do what you gotta do, just make sure you save some medication for the people that actually need it.
The demand for these products is so high, off-label usage is high, and so Novo has actually started to restrict lower doses of Wegovy in the US to protect the patients that are already on the drugs.
Another hurdle is reimbursement and also cost.
All of the drugs are really expensive right now. We're looking at $1,000 per month or more. Obesity for a long time was just thought of as a lifestyle choice. You'll lose weight if you eat less. We've seen how much money the diet industry makes here in the United States. And so it really wasn't until the last decade that obesity has been treated as an actual disease.
So it hasn't.
So everything is a disease now, right? Everything that's a self-inflicted wound is a disease now. Well, in my mind, that's an opportunity to continue to profit from it. Because I don't want them to get all of the money. I also want to be an investor in what's going on. And if they actually aggressively expanding because they making so much money from this drug, jeez.
Really been reimbursed well, and it's largely been an out-of-pocket market.
If you've never lived in a bigger body, you have zero room to judge.
You know, I've been covering pharma.
This is so dumb. We are so stupid. We're just stupid as a nation, as an environment. Jesus Christ.
For 15 years, give or take, and I've never had people be more interested in a topic. When you talk to people about these, they very quickly go to a place of, oh, do you think that I need this? It speaks to the consciousness that people have about their bodies in a really interesting way.
So the obesity market was worth $2.5 billion in 2022. We estimate that this market could be in excess of $80 billion by 2030, and that's...
Yep, we're going to be talking about it in Stock Club. So make sure that y'all get y'all research on. We're not going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it in the next Stock Club. I'm earmarking this. We definitely got to have a conversation because we can't just hear this information and say, oh my God, people need to lose weight. No, we need to have this conversation and say, hey, why aren't we actively profiting from the fact that people are deciding that they're going to do what they want to do and they want to call it a disease in the first place? So, yeah.
Based on relatively low penetration rates, around 11% of obese patients in the US being treated, about 6% in Europe. Novo and Lilly are really going to be driving the space.
Because now we have two competitors in the space, it's just going to make the whole market bigger.
Okay. All right. I got it.